Can I kiss you? I thought you'd never ask.
In almost every film, music video, or TV show that you watch today, chances are you'll come across a scene where the actors share an intimate moment. A very intimate moment. Or an extremely intimate moment. Raunchy, steamy scenes are an expected part of Hollywood films these days. In the wake of the Me Too movement and a call to action for safer working spaces, Hollywood has to make sure that the safety and privacy of actors in these vulnerable and potentially awkward scenes is maintained. Today, we meet Heather María Ach. Her job is to make sure that actors feel safe performing intimate scenes before the cameras start rolling.
A lot of people ask me, well, what does an intimacy coordinator do? And that's people outside of the industry and sometimes people within the industry. This field is still extremely new and there's still a lot of questions and curiosity, which is great. Hi, my name is Heather María Ach, and I'm an intimacy coordinator for film and television. I work with a group called Reps on Set, which is a group of intimacy coordinators, on-set counselors, and advocates for underrepresented voices in film and TV. My specialties are LGBTQIA+ content, BDSM and kink, non-monogamy, working with diverse casts, and body positivity.
Profitability.
So what is the role of an intimacy coordinator and how does all of that work? So this is great. So we've had conversations with everybody. An intimacy coordinator is facilitating communication between production, directors, and actor to make sure everyone understands and is on the same page and consents to the intimacy within the scene. What it sounds like people are comfortable with for this scene is closed mouth kissing and open mouth kissing with no tongue. And will that work for your vision of this scene?
Yeah, that's perfect.
And then we also communicate with legal so that they can draw up the nudity and simulated sex writers. If you have a scene with simulated sex or nudity, you should absolutely, even if you're working in indie film, I encourage all my friends who are independent filmmakers to get a basic nudity writer or simulated sex writer in place. I have templates that I use for folks who don't have a legal department on their affiliated with their set. The SAG protocol is that those writers should be in place 48 hours prior to filming. Can it be sitting on the other one's lap? Mm-hmm. Okay, does that sound good? You want to try it again? It's absolutely fine and wonderful, in fact, if directors and actors speak with each other. The important thing to remember is that the intimacy coordinator needs to speak with the actors privately. So Brooke, we're going to do a little check-in about the scene so that their privacy is respected and so that they have a safer space to ask those questions or bring up any concerns that they may have that they may not feel comfortable speaking to in front of the director or production.
Whenever you're ready. Or whenever I'm ready.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Action.
So in addition to having conversations about consent, intimacy coordinators are also bringing in this new industry standard of having barriers in between actors in terms of their physical bodies. So welcome to my kit. We use all kinds of different things for padding or barriers. So everything from cutting up a piece of a yoga mat to an athletic cup, all kinds of different little padding that can be placed, within the actor's wardrobe, depending on how explicit the scene is. This is the stuff that people are really interested in. They're like, oh, but how do you make everybody look naked? So this is my bag of above the waist nudity covers. So pasties, nipple covers, things like that. You want to make sure in terms of working with a variety of races and ethnicities that you have nudity and modesty garments that are going to reflect multiple different types of skin tones. So people feeling comfortable and represented, right? For the indie filmmakers, I personally recommend working with colors that are not skin tone because unless you got that budget for VFX, then you're gonna just wanna be flagged immediately. I use this with all different genders. It's gonna stick around the front and then it's gonna go up, behind, and then boop, right? So that's to cover the body. Then, in addition, we're going to put some padding, place that inside, you have a little bit of barrier, you have a little bit, you have your garment that's going to cover the body. There's padding like this, right, as a little cup. It can either go inside of the nudity garment, it can go in the actor's undergarments, underneath the clothes. So the idea is just that if we're getting very close to people, that there's some padding so that everybody can move around freely. So we want to put this wonderful container in place where everyone's boundaries and consent has been confirmed, and then we want to have a physical barrier so people can feel safe to move around. So there's both the mental, emotional, and then also the physical planning that's being put in place.
And we can cut.
In terms of training to be an intimacy coordinator, people should have knowledge in the following areas. You need to understand how a set works. You need to understand about gender and sexuality and a range of gender and sexuality, and you need to understand about communication. At the end of the day, right, having the intimacy coordinator there is helping everything to run smoothly, right? It's making sure that communication is clear across the board so that everyone is in the most safe and informed space to do their best work and for production to run efficiently. In terms of intimacy coordinating, you want to make sure that you're coming to this work with a perspective on what it means to work on sets where there's intersectional representation. What does it mean to work with BIPOC folks, whether you are BIPOC yourself or not? What it means to work with trans, non-binary, and queer folks, whether you are or not. So that means not only do you write a character into a story, but if you're telling a story with non-binary characters or trans characters, are the bathrooms on set reflecting that? If you have binary or gendered bathrooms on set with actors who are non-binary, that's not actually creating a safe environment. The expectation in the field is that you are continuously educating yourself in all of those realms so that you are showing up to set with the most current contemporary understanding. So these are the things that I really want people to think about in terms of doing this work and making sure that you're supporting underrepresented voices. In terms of finding intimacy coordinators, lots of people have websites at this point. There's, different groups on social media. SAG-AFTRA is currently putting together a registry. Don't let budget stop you from reaching out to folks. Get in touch with whoever you can, and we'll lead you to someone who can be the best fit for you.